Hi, I'm Dr. Doris Lin from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. This presentation is about learning to relearn teachings and key issues. Nowadays, many people are used to a learning process that involves collecting informations and assembling the facts on top of one another. While this approach has value, it also has limitation. On the other hand, the learning, unlearning, and relearning cycle requires the people to revisit and analyze the relevance of learned informations as new informations become available. Based on these evaluations, individuals may need to discuss outdated beliefs and restructure their mental frameworks. To better understand this model, I conducted an experiment in the integrated project last semester. In these presentations, we discussed the previous work's survey design with student perceptions, results, and discussions in two directions, like general evaluation, learning to learn, and relearn evaluation. Lastly, we have a summary and conclusion. Learning to learn is a multi-dimensions abilities to engage the intentionally continuously to become a more effective. It is one of the most preferred abilities in university graduates. In our university, learning to learn is mentioned in the strategic plan and desire students to learn and strengthen their abilities to learn. The roles of university teachers should help the students develop their skill by teaching them how to learn effectively and efficiently, such as by providing study strategies and time management. In order to facilitate the integrations of learning to learn into undergrad curriculum, this project offers the verbal training for students under project-based learning. Here is the briefly introductions about the components of learning to learn in university, such as student needs to learn smarter in a different way. They need to find a way to learn and understand the topics deeply by using reflections, knowledge sharing, improvement of the skill. Teachers provide different aspects to students to develop their habit and motivate the student to believe, revealing the learning outcome, which can increase their learning progress. From the previous work, we noticed that suitable learning is carried out within the context in which the knowledge is located in higher education and where it will be used and applied. Also, students' active involvement in meaningful learning activities and their reflections on the learning process are critical approach. So, experiment learning offers the 4 interactive techniques to help students learn to relearn. The methods involve the practical experience, thoughtful examinations, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentations. According to the previous works, active learning and practical experience happens at every step of the learning to relearn process. Students need to apply what they have learned to abstract the knowledge. So, problem-based learning can create innovative mind when preparing the course app. The group project can help students to improve the critical thinking and project management skill and engage in different concepts. So here can apply the active learning and apply learning by doing. Here is the methodologies overview. We conduct a 5-point scale survey to evaluate student perceptions of integrated projects. Project-based learning on critical thinking, self-direct learning, and how project-based learning can motivate students to review and build a new knowledge according to the active experimentations. Also, cooperation is the main issue in learning to relearn model, which is the future trend of university teaching. The open-end questions were related to this model as well. Let's talk about the details background for these methodologies. All the students mainly come from Year 2 and Year 3. They need to build an app or applications for their learned subject. According to the survey result on student perceptions of integrated projects, over 70% IP is effective in developing project management skill and learning the new skill or concept during the project time. 70% of students agree integrated project can be motivated and engaged when learning complex techniques or ideas. The project requirements are to read the previous course material, select a topics for chosen course, and apply the concepts to design the app's environment in a specific context. In week 6, students need to draft the project proposal. In week 13, during the app demonstration, students asked questions and took peer assessment to assess their understanding of the application. A written report for the project to explain how the selected course could help the subsequent students learn and the assessment rubrics to be used to evaluate an app's qualities and identify the knowledge and skill. This slide shows the student proposal and the final applications. Most students select logic gate and wave frequency as the applications topic. It means those topics are not easier to understand.
This is the demo video of those topics. In the video, student provides the concepts of aptitude and logic gates. They also use the question and answer and some interactive activities to help learners become more familiar with those topics. shows the result from a student survey and analysis using statistical tools to evaluate whether the objectives had been met. Let's look at the survey result on the general evaluations of problem-based learning. Based on this statistical result, 60% of the students agreed that the PBL can develop their critical thinking and self-direct learning skill.
In this slide, over 70% of students agreed that problem-based learning can develop cooperative learning and organized skill in learning to relearn the previous course materials. We also discovered the student can manage their time to prioritize their project tasks and stay motivated to build new knowledge. Over 75% students are able to identify their learning needs and information retention improvement. This is the student feedback using the short questions. In this table, we notice that students use different strategies and technologies to enhance their learning process, such as internet resources, setting the learning plan, communicating with groupmates, reviewing the learning process, verifying the existing skill, breaking down complex information into smaller and seek feedback from peers and teachers. We also discovered the student could balancing the learnings by new skill, just use the maintaining existing one and setting assign time and practicing existing skill, building and learning a new skill from the current knowledge. Learning how to find the solutions, identifying the weaknesses, prioritize the tasks, continuously evaluate and adjust the learning approaches. Students also can provide some tips for improving their abilities to learn and retain the new informations. For example, making connections between new data, reviewing the knowledge regularly, keep motivated and interested in learning, finding a study partner, active learning, developing one's learning method, and conducting self-study. In conclusion, there are difficulties and limitations. Most students agree that active learnings and learning by doing could effectively lead to relearning in an integrated project with suitable technologies and pedagogies. The content can be delivered to fulfill learning outcomes. Students can learn based on project-based learning, effective practical experience, and supported by the learning to relearn. This is the reference list. Thanks for your valuable comments and time.